Hello, good afternoon. This is me again. I have here a new Excel sheet with a new game. This time is for the trunk landmarks for acupuncture points in the front and in the back. And this is only comprising the chest and the abdomen. And here we have the back based on the spinal vertebra. So this is based on the Kim's book, Manual of Acupuncture. And I developed this spreadsheet with sort of a game. So we have to fill out these cells in this format only the ones that have like a frame are the ones that we need to complete because these are all the main acupuncture points that are located on the chest and on the abdomen and on the back, respectively. So first of all, we have to study it. So if you scroll upwards, you will find the answer sheet. And again, the purpose of the game, if you put the correct number and acupuncture channel name, you will turn the cell green. So the purpose of this game is to turn all these cells green. Then you have completed. I have a few notes. So every cell that you see that has a little right upper triangle, red triangle in the corner, that means that that cell has a special comment, okay? So for example, here you will see that this point is 3.5 soon. So first of all, again, this is based on the Kim's book. You can find exactly the same table in the Kim's book. And you will see here that the lines that are on the chest, on the front of the person, the center is the midline. Then you move to the lateral, to the right or the left. In this case, it will be the left of the patient. You will see 0.5 soon, then 2 soon, 4 soon, 6 soon, and there is 1 point that is not on the front. So, but it is on the same level here. So we'll discuss this later. So then we have here on the y-axis, we have the landmarks, the anatomical landmarks, which are the clavicle, the fourth intercostal space, which is at the level of the breast or the nipples in men. In women, of course, this may vary. And then we have the umbilicus, which is another anatomical landmark, and the symphysis pubis. So you have to know the measurements from the clavicle. Then you have here from the xiphoesternal process to the umbilicals, we have 8 soon. Then from the umbilicus to the symphysis pubis, we have 5 soon. So that's why these are named on this order. So I recommend you to study this first. The channels in the male line, we have the REN channel or the conception channel that goes, and remember to learn the flow of the chi in the channel. That's very important. So study from REN 2, then we move upwards to REN 22. Then we have the kidney channel that also starts. It's a yin channel that starts on the foot and ends in the chest. So here we have at this level of the pubis, we have kidney 11. Then we end up kidney 27. It's very important that you notice that the channel changes in directions, like in the line from 0.5 soon at the level of the abdomen. It changes to 2 soon at the level of the chest. And the same here for all the other 2 channels. So it's the stomach channel is the next one. This one starts at the eye, so it comes from up and it moves down. Starts with stomach 13, it moves down to stomach 30. And then we have the spleen, that is the opposite direction. It starts on the foot and moves up to the chest. And then we have an extra friend here, the long one, which is the front move point of the lung that is here on this line, 6 zone. So it's important that you notice first the big picture is here, that the only channel that it goes in a straight line is the REN channel. And then the channel that goes, all the other 3 channels change directions at the level of the xyphosternal process or the sternal, costosternal angle. This is very important to remember. If the kidney channel moves from 0.5 to 2 soon, the stomach channel moves from 2 soon to 4 soon, and the spleen channel moves from 4 soon to 6 soon. And then we just need to remember a few things of all these numbers. All the other ones are gonna be just common sense. Just count upwards or downwards. That's it. You just need to memorize a few of them. So I'm gonna tell you which ones you have to memorize. First, you have to start with the tops. So you have to memorize in the direction of the channel. So follow the direction of the chi flow of the channel. So the REN channel starts down and it moves upwards. So REN 2, and then memorize REN 22. Okay. The kidney channel starts kidney 11 and then ends up on kidney 27. The stomach channel starts on stomach 30 and ends up on stomach 13. I'm sorry, it starts on stomach 13 and ends up on stomach 30. That's the direction of the chi flow in the channel. And then a spleen starts from spleen 12 and moves up to the chest to end up on the chest, ends on spleen 20, but you know the channel has 21, which is not shown here on this table, but it's lateral. So spleen 20 is the last one that we have here, and then we have this extra friend here that is acupuncture point, which is lung 1, the front move of the lung. Okay, PC1, you notice that is in the middle, is between stomach and the spleen at the level of the 4th intercostal space. So now that you know that you memorize the first and the last one, the first and the last one here, or the first and the last one here, now you just have to memorize the ones that are here at the level of the umbilicus, the level of the 4th intercostal space, which is the nipple line, and the level of the clavicle. So you only have to memorize these numbers, okay? The ones that are on this line. So let's start with the REN 2 at the level of the pubis is REN 2, at the level of the umbilicus is REN 8, at the level of the 4th intercostal space is REN 17, and then at the level of the clavicle, underneath the clavicle is REN 22, and above the clavicle, which is in the jugular notch, is REN 22. That is behind the external process. So then we have the same for the kidney channel. First one is kidney 11, umbilicus kidney 16. Remember that skips 1 here, then kidney 21, and it changes to kidney 23 here at the 4th intercostal space. And then the last one is kidney 27. Then at the clavicle, stomach 13, at the 4th intercostal space, the nipple line, that's stomach 17. We have then stomach 25 at the level of the umbilicals, and then stomach 30, which is the last point on the symphysis pubis. On the pubic line, I'm sorry, not the symphysis, the pubic line. Then we have spleen 12. This is a little bit tricky, so you just have to memorize this one. Spleen 12 is at the level of the pubis. Then we have spleen 15, the umbilicus. Spleen 16 is 3 soon above the umbilicus, above spleen 15. And then spleen 18 at the level of the nipples, and then long 1 here. gallbladder 26, of course, gallbladder is always different. So that one is gonna be the last one here to remember. So if you memorize all those, all the rest is just count upwards or downwards. So another recommendation is, because when we are locating these points on a patient, on a real patient, we have to know these landmarks: the clavicle, the fourth intercostal space, we have REN 17, too soon lateral, we have kidney 23, which I remember because kidney 23, 23 is a special number, is the back shoe. In the back is the back shoe of the kidney, UB23. So I remember kidney 23 in the front at the level of the nipples. It's important to remember that one. It's stomach 17, which is at the level of REN 17. So this is the way that I remember. And then a spleen 18 is just one more than a stomach 17. So spleen, stomach 17, spleen 18, and the pericardium is in between those two, pericardium 1. This is where the pericardial channel starts. So that's it. At the level of the umbilicus, it's very important to remember this as well, this line. So REN 8 is the umbilicus. That's the center. This is a point that you should never needle, just moxa. And then we have kidney 16, which is the double as 8. So that's the way that I remember. This is 0.5 lateral to REN 8, 0.5 soon. Then we have stomach 25, which is too soon lateral to REN 8, spleen 15, which is for soon, lateral to REN 8. So for soon is another way to remember is 5 minus 1 equals 4. So this is for soon lateral to REN 8 or to the midline. And then gallbladder 26, which is at the same level of the umbilicus. So you need to memorize this line. And then the last line that you need to memorize is this one, is the pubic line, REN 2, kidney 11, stomach 30, and spleen 12. Okay, so that's it for the front. So now let's do that one here. Let's complete the little game. So we're gonna start again. Start with the tops, bottom and up, then follow the chi flow direction in the channel. Fill out first the main landmarks like the umbilicus and the fourth intercostal space of the nipple level, and be mindful of the change in line measurement at the fifth intercostal space. Those are the 4 rules that we have to follow here in general. So the REN channel starts in the bottom and moves upward. So we have to start from here. So REN 2 is gonna be our first number. Then we fill out the last ones is REN 22. So this is a way to remember, easy way to remember REN 2 and REN 22. Then we move to the umbilicus, which is REN 8. Then we move to the fourth intercostal space, which is REN 17. Okay, so we have the main landmarks numbers here. Now we just have to count upwards with a special thing here in between. So 4 soon, so this is just 1 soon above each. So they are just 1 soon apart. So we're gonna move from the pubis, we're gonna move upwards 1 soon. So REN 3, REN 4, REN 5. Here's not REN 6, here is REN 7, because REN 6, remember, is very special point, and that's 1.5 soon below the umbilicus. So it's not represented here because of that. This is only 1 soon measurements. Just remind that. Then we continue moving upwards. REN 9, REN 10, REN 11, REN 12, and you see the only way that this is turning green is because I'm putting the correct numbers. If I put here, let's say, REN 23, look what happened. It doesn't turn green. So we need to turn the cell green, putting the correct number. Okay, so REN 13, REN 14, range 15. So we're just counting upwards. Range 18, range 19, range 20, and range 21 at the level of the clavicle. So underneath the clavicle. So that's it. This is just the run line. Of course, this is only for location, memorization of the location and the landmarks. You will have to study apart the main functions of these points, but I recommend you to do it in this way. Just memorize first the location, then you do another study time for the locate the functions of these points, the main indications. So now we have the kidney channel. Remember that one is 0.5 Sun on the abdomen, lateral to the midline. And then at the level of the 5th intercostal space, it moves lateral to Sun. So kidney channel starts in the foot and ends in the clavicle. So the first kidney point is kidney 11. The last one is kidney 27. Kidney 27. The umbilicus is the double of 8, so kidney 16. And then at the level of the 4th intercostal space or the nipple area, that's kidney 23. And again, I remember this one because 23 is the back shoe point of the kidney. So that's how I remember. In the front is kidney 23, in the back is UB23, the back shoe. So now that I have the main ones, I just have to count upwards in the flow of the channel. With a special recommendation, remember after the umbilicus, the kidney channel skips 1 Sun. So we're gonna start counting. So kidney 12, kidney 13, kidney 14th, kidney 15, and then we skip. Then we move kidney 17, kidney 18, kidney 19, kidney 20, kidney 21. We skip this 7 Sun line, and this is where the channel changes in direction to 2 Sun. So kidney 22, kidney 24, kidney 25, kidney 26. So we have that here, and that's it. We completed the kidney line. Just remember, we skip 1 Sun above the umbilicus, and we skip this line for all the other channels at the level of the 7 Sun or range 15, or underneath the 5th intercostal space. And this is because of the rib cage, the way, like the shape of the rib cage. So it starts moving like lateral here, like curving. That's why the channel changes. So now we move the opposite side, the opposite direction from the stomach channel that starts on the eye. So we start here at the clavicle. So the first point is stomach 13, and the last point is stomach 30. So this is one way to remember 3 and 3. We have 3 here. So then we have at the level of the nipples, we have stomach 17, and the way that I remember here is because stomach 17 is the same as range 17, so 17 is the same number. Then at the level of the umbilicus, everybody knows stomach 25 is here, the front wall of the large intestine. And then that's it. We completed the first, the last one, and the top 2 landmarks. Then we start just counting. Stomach 14, stomach 15, stomach 16, stomach 18. We move, change directions to 2 Sun, lateral to the midline. So we have a stomach 19, stomach 20, stomach 21, stomach 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's it. Now let's move to the spleen line. The spleen channel starts in the foot and moves upwards to the chest. But so we're going to start here with spleen 12, which is 3.5 soon. So that's why it has like a red corner comment. That is 3.5 soon, but the line is 4 soon. And then remember that this is not the last point. This is just long 1, which is 6 soon lateral to the midline at the level of the first intercostal space below the clavicle. So this is long 1, but spleen 20 is gonna be here. This is not the last point of the channel. This is just the last one that is on the chest at the level of the 6 soon line. And then we just count. Remember that the umbilicus is spleen 15, 4 soon lateral, 5 minus 1 equals 4, so 4 soon lateral. And then at the level of the nipples, we have spleen 18. And the way that I remember this one, spleen 18 is 1 upwards to stomach 17, okay? And then remember, spleen 16 is 3 soon upwards from the umbilicus level, or from the spleen 15 at the level of the 4 soon line. And then here we just count 17 and spleen 19. And we have just one more to fill out, which is GB26. And that's it. We have completed the front line. And you just memorize less than, let's say, I don't know, 10, 12 points instead of all of this. All the other ones, you just count upwards or downwards, and that's it. So let's move back to the study sheet that has the back points, and this is a little bit different, the measurements. Of course, the center is the do channel. So we have here the vertebral, the spinal column numbers, levels. We have the sacral foramen here. We have 1.5 soon lateral to the center, which is this line. We have then 3 soon lateral and 3.5. So you just have to memorize this in the back. There are odd numbers in the front. There are even numbers, most of them, okay? So just memorize that. And then the same, we're gonna have anatomical landmarks to remember to localize these punctures, acupuncture points on a patient. Just have to memorize C7 is an anatomical landmark, T3, which is the spinal, the scapula, spine of the scapula. Then we have T7 is it's at the level of the angle, the lower angle of the scapula, which is not very reliable landmark. This is more reliable, but this is a helpful anatomical landmark to remember, and it's very helpful to localize all of these points. And T12 is where the last rib is attached to the back. L4 is where the iliac spine is palpated on a patient. So these are very important to remember, okay? And here we only have 2 channels, and the ones that are in yellow are extra points that we're gonna complete here for the back. So the only 2 channels that we have here are the do channel, or the governing vessel, and then we have the UB channel that has 2 lines in the back. So just memorize them. I'm gonna give you some hints below, and remember that this is the line of the sacral foramen that we have to put here, because this is the way that you will see it on the back of a patient. So let's move down, and we're gonna start fill it out. Again, follow the rule, the tops of the channel, and follow the direction of the channel, and it's gonna be very easy. So let's start with do 2 here, and you say is the same as rent 2, is the same number. Do 2, we start here, and this is the hiatus, okay? Then the last here, everybody knows, do 14, and at the level of L4, the ones that are here that has a red triangle in the upper right corner are extra points, so I'm gonna leave those for the end. let's just focus on one channel at a time. Remember, it has to be to memorization and long-term memorization. You have to learn everything in small chunks. So let's start with the do channel at the level of L4, which is in dark gray. We have to remember this one is do 3. At the level of T12, we don't have any point for the do channel. At the level of T7, we have do 9, which is at the same level of UB17, you will see later. And then at the level of T3, we have do 12. So you just have to memorize this and then follow this rule. So at the level of L2, we have do 4 and do 5 are together. Then we skip 1 and then we have 3 together. So do 6. The way that I remember do 6 is at level of T11 is because if you move to the 1.5 soon lateral, at the level of T11, we have UB20, which is the back shoe of the spleen. So I remember this is the back shoe of the spleen because 20 has a 0 and the spleen looks like the organ looks like a 0, actually, in real life. So that's how I remember this is UB20 is the back shoe of the spleen. I remember that that's at the level of T11 because 11 has 2 numbers that are repeated. Number 1 is twice, and spleen, the word, has 2 E's. So just a mnemonic. Remember, spleen has 2 E's, T11 has the same number twice. And then do 6 is easy to remember because if you move upside down the number 6, it will look like an E. So a spleen has 2 E's. The 6 is like an E backwards. So that's the way that I remember. This is the spleen line. So do 6, UB20 at the level of T11. Okay. And then we count upwards, do 7, do 8. Another one easy to remember here is that do 8 is at the same level of UB18. So 8 and 8, we have the same number. It's very easy to remember, okay? Then we skip 1 and then we have do 9. Let's continue, do 10. And we have do 11. And another one that I remember here, do 11 is at the level of UB15, which is the heart, the back of the heart. The way that I remember this is because T5, it's UB15. So this is the back of the heart, and heart is very important. It's the emperor of the organs in TCM. So it's number 1, and it's so important that it's number 1 twice. So 11. That's how I remember the do 11. It's at the level of T5. Same back shoe of the heart. And then we only have one left, do 13. You just count downwards. So for the do channel, there is no rule here. You just have to remember do 2 it starts at the hiatus, and then we start in the back at the level of L4, the anatomical landmark. We do 3, then we count 2, do 4, do 5. Then we skip 1, then we count 3 more, we skip 1, 3 more, skip 1, we skip, and 2. So just memorize that. Or the other way to memorize them is at the level of the back shoe points. And that's very helpful also with the indications and the functions of these points because they share most of the main indications of the back shoe points. So now we're going to move to the UB line, which is basically all of this. So UB channel starts in the eye. So it moves downwards. So we're going to start counting from here. So the first one, this is very easy. At the level of T1, you just have UB11. You just have to the letter T looks like a 1. So that's number 1. And then you just add the same level, the same number at the level of the same spine level. So UB11, at T2 is UB12, T3, UB13, T4, UB14, UB15, T6, UB16, T7, UB17, and this is the last. We have to skip this one. So these are the first 7. You just count the same level of the spine. So it's very easy to remember the level of the spine. Here is an extra point that we'll learn later. And then we skip, and then we continue the counting. So UB18 is gonna be 1 spinal level above because we skipped T8. So at the level of T9, we have UB18. At the level of T10, we have UB19. So you just count the level of the spine is 1 more, or the level of the back shoe point. The UB channel point is 1 number less from the actual level of the spine. T12, you have UB21, and the way that I remember this one is 12. If you switch numbers, is 21. So that's very easy to remember, T12, 21. Then we continue moving downwards. UB12, I'm sorry, UB22, UB23, UB24, UB25, UB26, UB27, UB28, UB29, and UB30. At the level of S4, the channel changes, and we continue here. UB31, UB32, UB33, UB34, and UB35. And here we have another way to remember this one is because the S looks like a 3 that is backwards. So you just switch that letter and it will look like a 3 for me. So 31 is at the level of S1, S2 is 32, S3 is 33, and S4 is 34. And then at the level of U35, this is the tip of the coccyx. Okay, so this is the first line of the UV channel, and then we move to the second line. So we start here. It's important to remember that this is not, the first one is not in the UV channel, but it's gonna be on the third zone lateral to the midline. And at the level of T1, we have SI14. So this is a special number. So the same as we have a special number here at the front that doesn't have to do anything with these channels, the same here. We have an extra, this is not an extra point. This is another point from another channel that is not on the same channels as this one. So then we start counting at the level of T2, we have UB41. The way that I remember these numbers, there are many mnemonics to remember this, but the way that I remember is because we just need to add to the first digit of the number, we just add 3. So that counts to 4. And at the second digit of the number, we subtract 1. And the same rule applies for all this line. So let me show you. If you add 3 numbers to the first digit, you have 4. If you subtract 1 number to the second digit, you will have 1. So UB41. UB13 will be UB42. And the same for the other ones. UB43. UB44, UB45, UB46. So you see 1 plus 3, 4, 7 minus 1, 6. So 46. We skip T8 and then we continue UB47, UB48, UB49, UB50. So we have here this special line, T12, UB21, and UB50. This is another way that you can remember on a real patient, so you don't have to start counting from the T1 downwards to T12 or L1. You just know T12 is UB50, and then you continue counting downwards. UB51 and UB52. So this channel stops here at L2, UB52. So this is easy to remember. UB51, it's at the level of L1. UB52 is at the level of L2. Then we skip all of this, and then we continue on S2. So UB53 is gonna be on S2, or the second sacral vertebra, and then the last point on this second line of this channel is gonna be UB54, which is very easy to remember. S4 looks like a 54. So UB54 is the last point on this 3-zone line in the back for the UB channel. So now we have completed the do channel and the 2 lines for the UB channel. We just have to fill out the extra points that are here, that we just have 5 extra points to complete. So let's start with the one that is here, extra point that is underneath L5. And this is just learn your pinyin. How do you say 17th vertebra in pinyin? That it's being said, she, jue. So she means 17, and jue means vertebra. So 17th vertebra, that's if you count 12 thoracic vertebra and then 5 lumbar vertebra, you have 17. So jue is this underneath the 17th vertebra. So this is the extra point for the back underneath L5, okay, on the midline. Then let's go to this extra point, the one that we skip here, that kinds of breaks up our rule here for the UB channel, and it's at the level of T8, and this is the back shoe of the pancreas. So that is called in pinyin Wei Guan Xia Shu. And that means the back shoe of the pancreas. So Wei Guan Xia Shu. Then at the level of L1, we have P again. At the level of L2, we have Jing Gong. To me, these two, Pig and Jing Gong, I remember King Kong, they have very big bellies, and L1 and L2 are at the level of the belly. So Pigan looks like pig. So that's how I remember these two. Pigan and Jing Gong, Pig and King Kong. That's how I remember. At the level of L1 are L2 on the back, 3.5 soon lateral to the midline. And then the last one that we have here is very easy to remember because it's Yao Yan. And Yao Yan, Yao means lumbar. So this is at the level of the L4, and this is an extra point that is very useful for the lumbar spine. Okay, so that's it. This is my little mnemonic. I hope that you like it, and I hope that it will help you memorizing these numbers. And again, the more you practice, the better you become at this. Now I've been doing this for a couple of weeks, and I can fill out this complete sheet in less than a minute. You just have to memorize a few numbers, memorize a few rules, the 4 rules. And if you like this Excel file, I cannot put it on YouTube. I will have to email to you. If you like to have this Excel sheet, just send me your email with a comment that you would like to have this. I will put you the link to my email underneath this video, so you can send me your email asking for this table, and I will send it to you. It has all the formulas, and it's just like a funnier way to memorize these numbers and learn this for your exams at school and also for the boards. Okay, I hope it's helpful to you. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.